Alright, I just want to preface this video by saying that this is going to be very obnoxious and annoying, and I apologize in advance. So if you need to take a minute and prepare yourself for a video full of a teenage girl screaming ah and ee and ooh for days, go ahead and prepare yourself. I won't judge. Nope, I can't do that note anymore. For my physics project, I decided that I was going to break a glass with my voice, and this proved to be a challenge that was harder than I was expecting, but I embraced it with open arms. And when I was doing my research on the science behind how this all works, it was so interesting to me. And I watched a couple of videos, and this one girl who did a similar project to what I did, she said this is one experiment that understanding the science behind it made it make it easier to do. And I think that's really true. Understanding how it all worked definitely made it easier for me to accomplish this goal, and I learned lots of tips and tricks along the way that helped me. One term I wanted to bring up was an oscillating system. An oscillating system is just a system that moves back and forth, and a really good example of this is just a regular playground swing. Every oscillating system has what's called a resonant frequency. And the resonant frequency, one way to describe that is the frequency that the swing is going to continue to swing at if you just leave it be. And if you drive an oscillating system at its resonant frequency, you're going to have a maximum response in amplitude. So if you push a swing at its resonant frequency, it's going to have the greatest response between going back and forth. Way more than if you're going too fast or too slow. So when I was looking for a glass, there was a couple qualities that I looked for in the glass. The first thing that was pretty important was the thickness of the glass. What's most desired is a thin rim, which is like this glass. The top part of the glass right here is very thin, which would mean it's easier to break, opposed to a glass with a thicker rim like this. It's much thicker and more difficult to break. And these are my glasses! Let's do this! This looks really crazy. There is a huge speaker on one side, and I'm singing in a microphone and holding a glass. It's a lot going on. But the reason we got the speaker out was to make it louder, make my voice louder. So instead of just being my voice singing at the glass, I thought that the speaker would make it louder, and perhaps it would make it easier for the glass to break if the sound was louder. Now, unfortunately, it didn't go quite as I hoped, but you may notice that at one point the glass was shaking when it got close to the speaker. So I put a straw in this cup, so when I'm singing into it, it will start to shake with the glass when I get close to the same resonant frequency. After a couple days of experimenting with the glass and trying different techniques, one thing I found that was really helpful was when I slid my voice around. So instead of flicking the glass and hearing the pitch and just trying to sing right on it, I would slide around because I found it helped me find the right resonant frequency I need to be singing at for the glass, because when I had the straw inside, this helped a lot. because the straw was inside and I would slide around, and when the straw would start to shake, I knew I was at the right frequency. So I would keep singing right at that pitch where the straw was shaking, and I knew I was in the right spot and I knew I was getting closer. Something else I noticed is that when I'm singing a straight tone to the glass like this, it's ringing more than when I'm using lots of vibrato, like this. I think that's because I'm shaking my voice, and I think it might be not hitting the exact resonant frequency as often as when I'm using a straight tone. After so much research and experimentation, everything is leading up to this moment. This was such a celebratory moment. I was so excited. I'd been waiting for this and working for it for what seemed like forever. But I was so surprised. I wasn't expecting it to happen like that, and it didn't happen. It didn't shatter like I was expecting it to, and that's okay because I cracked it and I felt accomplished and I was proud of myself, and that's all that matters.